This episode of the MLB Guardcast is sponsored by Sadnap Studios. Are you in need of assistance when it comes to digital arts, logo creation, website design, brand building, or designing merch? Then look no further than Sadnap Studios. The team at Sadnap Studios wants to help and make your dreams into reality. Everything is original and organically created, nothing AI. You can follow them and check out some of their incredible work on Instagram at sadnap_studios_art drop. Thanks again to the folks at Sadnap Studios. Go Guards. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for another episode of the MLB Guardcast. I am Mike Vorhies. With me, as always, statistician, greatest co-host, among other things I could say, Bryan Shaw. Baseball is here. We're 12 games in. How you feeling?
Feel okay. I feel fine. I mean, it's 12 games. I don't know. I've got some good stuff. I cooked up some good things for today. I have some things to say to the fan base.
I assume that you did. The Guardians, folks, 6-6, 500 through 12 games, coming off of a 3-game sweep of the lowly Chicago White Sox. And I'll be honest, they really, I think aside from one game, the White Sox scare me. I don't know why. I'm sure most of the American League Central scares me. They just play us so well. And I would just love to be able to run away with every single game that we play, but that's not going to happen. I have some worries. We'll get to that. But, Bryan, I'll tell you what, Guardians 6-6, if you'd told me that at the end of spring training, that through 2 weeks of the season, we'd be 500, I would have told you, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Am I happy about it? No. We're sitting in third place, percentage-wise, third place behind the Tigers and the team that we get to play a weekend series with, the Kansas City Royals, starting tonight. Excited about this series. I love being at home. It's cold. How much do you think this weather affects our gameplay so far at home?
Glad you asked.
Well, you are meteorologist extraordinaire. Figured I'd lob you a softball.
Glad you asked, sir. So, way back in my meteorology days, when Tito used to give us that old adage, right? You know, the weather and it's cold and we can't have prospects start off in Cleveland because it's too cold. We need them to start off hot in the warm shores of Columbus, Ohio. And then they have to come.
Yes, because Columbus is so much warmer right now.
I mean, maybe like 5 degrees on a daily basis, but
maybe.
But it was always funny. So I do what I do, right? I did the research.
Yeah.
And at least for the Guardians, or at the time the Indians, it was true. Like the previous year and the previous couple of years, or that year with Tito, it was true that their hits and their runs went up as the weather warmed up. Now, last season, incredible start, right? They were 9-3 for through the first 12 games. Listen to some of these high temperatures that we had in the early part of April. Mind you, opening day, home opener in Cleveland, was Eclipse Day, and it was in the 70s. We had let's just go for the first 3 weeks. Well, we'll go first 2 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 8 days over 60 degrees last April in the first 2 weeks.
We haven't had one yet.
And this April so far has been very chilly.
Yeah.
So I do think it plays a role. I think that there's some other things going on that we'll get into with the offense, but I do think that the cold weather has mattered a little bit. There's other things that, I heard from Chris Antonetti. He was on the radio before the home opener, and he had some things that he had discussed that he attributed to some of the early early season struggles that he doesn't expect to be typical. And we'll get into all that statistically here coming up in a little bit. But to answer your question, yes, I do think the weather matters.
And I played baseball a little bit growing up, and I know that I used to hate March and April practices because that ball is different when it's cold. It just doesn't have the same grip. And I'm imagining that's the problem with our pitchers. I've gotten on X. I've seen everybody ready to yank Emmanuel Clase out of the closer role. Oh my goodness, he's not the same. He's falling apart. Blah blah blah. Listen,
Well, I have something interesting about Class A as well, but we'll get into that
I
later.
do I think that this cold weather has something to do with our pitchers? Sure. We're 6-6, guys. I get it. We probably should have beaten the Angels out in LA. We didn't.
Should
We didn't
we?
play
Have
well.
you looked at their record?
They're
They're also, I
currently
think, leading the league in home runs
eight
right
and
now.
four. They're 8-4. Can I ask you this, Mr. Statistician? Who has the best record in baseball currently?
No
Do
idea
you know? The
because it
San
doesn't matter.
Diego Padres at
Oh,
10 and
see?
3. One game above well, a percentage point above the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are 10 and 4.
Yeah. Would the Padres
So
started
listen,
like 8-0, something like that?
yeah, so we're 6-6, guys. We're right in the thick of things. Texas leads the American League at 9-4. It's early. Like,
Well,
calm down.
the other thing I saw, and this was actually from John Heyman, because after the whole torpedo bat thing with the Yankees
Oh my
and
goodness. Yes. We got to
and
talk about
them
that.
clobbering the Brewers, right? So they
Hmm.
clobbered the Brewers, just absolutely crushed them. Probably some of that had to do with Nestor Cortez and Aaron Savali being their pitchers, and so
Poor
the
Nestor
Yankees,
Cortez.
the Yankees absolutely clobber them. It's this whole thing
Yeah,
about torpedo bats, and then like a week later, you revisit the two teams, and they have the same record,
they are
and the
both
Yankees had like fallen
currently.
off.
The Yankees are 7-5. Milwaukee is 7-6.
Yeah, well, they were both 6-5 at the time that Heyman had said
Yeah.
that. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's really, really early to make any grand sweeping, accusations
Mhm.
or assumptions at this point. But I want to go into the history books a little bit. So
History books are
currently, the
fun.
team, like you said, is 6-6. We've seen some issues here and there. We'll talk
Mhm.
about them, but they're averaging 3.7 runs per game.
That's
Uh,
low.
Last season they were 9-3. They're averaging 5.7 runs a game, which we had, last year we were like, oh, they're the best offense in baseball. They finished with 4.4 runs, and they were right in the middle of the league. 4.4 runs
Okay.
per game. Let's rewind to 2018.
Okay.
Through 12 games. So 2018, you remember that team, correct? They were
Yes.
they went into the ALDS, unfortunately got swept by the
SpongeBob.
Astros.
SpongeBob was born, correct? No.
No,
Wrong
no.
season.
That is
Wrong season.
that's
That's
22.
the Trastros. Yes, I remember 2018. Yes.
18
Okay.
18 is still Lindor, Kipnis,
Yes. Got it.
Santana, Edwin.
The cheaters kept cheating. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
got it. Hmm.
That team started off the first 12 games only scoring 3 runs a game.
Oh wow.
They finished third in the league in scoring and averaged 5 runs a game.
Okay.
They were 7-5 despite their only scoring 3 runs a game. 2019 team started off 8-4. They were only scoring 3.6 runs a game for the first 12 games. But then also let's fast forward then from that point to 2022. Similar to 24, very quick start, 7-5, 5.6 runs a game for the first 12 games, but they finished only scoring 4.3, 15th in the league.
Okay.
My point is that let's not, like you said, let's not take anything with 12 games like
It's
super serious at
12
this point.
games. Right.
Like
It's
it's not
12
even
games,
2 weeks.
guys.
A lot of people were freaking out that they had a record of 3-6. They hadn't even played a home game yet,
Hmm.
and they were already burying them. And this goes both ways. I brought up 24 and 22 because They started off super hot out of the gate, and then they ended up being pretty average offensively for the totality of the season. And then you have the other side where you can start off slow. 2018 only 3 runs a game. Even 2016. So I just said that we were scoring this season 3.7 runs a game. The
Mhm.
2016 team, same record, 6-6, only point 0.1 more run per game through the first 12
Yeah.
games.
Quick recap, folks. So obviously, start of the season, we win in Kansas City. That was an epic ball game. Probably never should have went that way, but it did. We win. We then lose the next one to Kansas City. We win the next one. So we take the series 2-1. That's great. Everybody's thinking if we can just do this all season long, we're going to be an amazing team, right? Then we run into the buzzsaw known as the San Diego Padres. They walloped us in 3 games, folks. We lost all 3 games, shut out in the first one, or no, shut out in the second one, lost by 5 in the first one, and then lost by 3 in the third one. We go to LA, we win the first one, and then we lose the next 2. Guys, this is how baseball works. I don't know if you've noticed this. It's not like when you're simulating MLB the show and you can make your team undefeated. That's just that those things don't happen, okay?
I'm
You're
playing
going to
the
lose
show and I'm not
games.
undefeated.
You're going to lose games. It's a fact of life. No matter how hard you try, injuries happen. We talk injuries. The Guardians, we have one injury that we need to talk about, and that is Brian. I'm sorry, your boy Lane
They hurt
Thomas.
my
Is he okay?
boy.
Have you visited him? Have
I
you have you
no, I
visited
should send
him?
him a
Did you send
letter.
him a card?
I should. A nice
I mean,
pack.
Lane Thomas
Things.
had a contusion. He is day to day. Has not played since the injury. He is. I don't think he is in the lineup for tonight. At least I
I'm
didn't see him
I would
in
imagine
the
it'd be a
lineup for
little
tonight.
early still before they post
Well, the
it.
game is at 6:10. You are right. Well, no, the Guardians have released their lineup tonight. Quan in left, Jose at third, Santana at first, Manzardo DHing, batting fourth, Noel fifth, Gabriel Arias sixth, Angel Martinez in center field batting seventh, Austin Hedges eighth hitting, catching, and then Rocchio, the shortstop, batting ninth. So Lane Thomas again out another game. Are we worried?
No, because he said it was just sore, and he said it was good that it wasn't broken, and if they were worried and it wasn't more than day to day, he would have gone on the IL. Same thing with Jose. We had Jose's early injury scare with him sliding in and
And then
sprained his
Jose
wrist.
then
And
Jose came back and hit 3 home runs in a single game. So can if that happens to Lane Thomas, then I think we're all okay. Like
yeah,
that's
and
fantastic.
and I think that's part of that's part of like the overall bad offense thing right now. You said 3.7 runs a
Offense
game
is struggling.
isn't a lot, but let's go through some of the guys. Do you expect when Lane returns that he's going to continue to have a 412 OPS?
No, he's gonna catch fire at some point. He always does.
Do you expect Nolan Jones to continue to have a 478 OPS?
He's got to find it. I really want Nolan Jones to succeed. He's not there yet.
Well,
Like
but he's having good at bats. He's
he
hitting the
is.
ball
He is.
hard.
And he drew the game-winning walk in the home opener,
Yeah.
winning 1-0 and probably one of the worst baseball games I think I have ever watched, just basically because it was so boring and it was so cold. I know
Yeah.
you were there and in person, and you look like you were bundled up for Antarctica.
I was
So,
I was pretty bundled up, but actually in the sunshine it was all right. Like I've
yeah,
been to colder games. Not at the opener because that was the coldest I think since 16. And then,
34 degrees at first pitch, I
yeah,
think. I mean, that's
it
cold.
was
It's
chilly.
cold in April.
Do you expect John Kenzie Noel to continue to have a 374 OPS?
No, he's hitting 160. He's got to find it. He'll
And he
find it.
hit 3 hits in the last 2 games. Like
Hmm.
he has, and they've been mostly on the ground. So, once that ball starts getting up in the air, there's some things that just haven't gone their way. Also, in terms of like the pedestrian record of 6-6, which not super good, and you look at the White Sox series and you're like, that should have been those games shouldn't have been as close.
Yeah.
Do you expect Jose to continue to have an error every other game? He's at
Yeah,
5.
let's talk about our defense here, folks. That's one of my big concerns right now. We have 15 errors as a team.
They're
Or no, I'm
third,
sorry,
third in the
11.
league,
We have 11. We have 11 errors through 12 games.
third in the league.
11. Rocchio and Jose are our top two right now. That's scary. We can't. We're hurting ourselves by committing errors. I mean
hmm
that
And that
just
was
like when.
and that was the thing with the Padres, I think a lot,
Mhm,
and that's something that Antonetti had pointed to because if you think about a couple of the starts that we had versus the Padres, that how many extra outs you were giving them. And the Padres are already a great team. We're already undefeated and are expected to be a really good team. You can't
yeah,
hand those guys extra outs because then your pitchers are then throwing what? An extra six, seven pitches per person that is going to
yeah.
stay up. And then if that adds to then a base hit, those pitch counts just get higher and higher. So that's part of it. Um, do you expect the base running value to continue to be 26th in the league?
No, they'll eventually get some stolen bases. Stephen Kwan is our catalyst. Obviously, he's hitting 356. He's tied for the team lead in home runs, which that baffles me.
Is it?
I'm not.
Wait,
He's got how many? He's got. Oh, sorry, he's got two
no.
home runs.
I
I
was gonna
misread.
say Jose's got like four.
Four, and
Yeah.
Manzardo's got four, and then Kwan and Santana have two. Um, Kwan is doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's got a 931 OPS, 356 batting average. I'll take that every game. Kwan is doing Kwan things, but the rest of the team's got to kind of pick it up. If you look
Yeah.
at our
And
top four hitters,
and I think
they're
they
doing
will.
they're doing okay.
The other thing is there have been some promising things, especially with Fink, the new hitting coach and
Hmm.
approach, being more patient, taking more walks, especially you're seeing it with guys with like Gabriel Arias and Nolan Jones and taking more pitches, getting more walks. The issue is that what you're not seeing is they're 29th in the league right now with runners, batting average with runners in scoring position at a
We can't hit.
160.
Yeah, we can't hit water if we fell out of a boat right
They
now
they've
in the middle of the
so
ocean.
far not been hitting in the clutch, and I expect that to
Hmm.
get better. So all these things that are sitting at the bottom of the league right now because they just haven't played well. Again, 12 games. You expect to improve.
Right.
There's the starter ERA hasn't been great, but some of that is attributed to the errors. But you've got your 27th in starter ERA right now at 5.15. In
That's
2024, that starter ERA was a 4.4. You
yeah.
expect the starters to be better this year than they were last year. If they're not, yeah, this team's probably not going places, but you invested in that rotation. Shane Bieber is going to come back eventually. John Means is going to come back eventually. You have our boy Parker Messick that we had talked about is doing really well. So
Yeah.
there's the potential to add more to the rotation, but you do expect the rotation to be better this year than they were last year, and you
Right.
expect that their ERA is going to be better than
Well,
5.15.
let's
You had
let's look at
Tanner
this really
Bybee,
quick. You've got Ortiz, who leads the team with 10 earned runs. He's been shelled.
but he had a very promising outing his last outing.
He did. He's to me, he's on the fence right now. I think if he has another bad start, I think you got to send him down to AAA and let him figure it out. I don't think you can have him in the starting rotation and just getting shelled. He's got to find some consistency, and he's been a little bit kind of all over the map here. Then you've got Bybee, who's been tagged for 7 runs, Lively 7 runs, Gavin 5, and then Logan Allen 4.
Yeah, Bybee got crushed in that outing against, was it the Padres?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's starting tonight, and I expect a nice rebound. That's the thing. That was one of Bybee's worst performances. But again,
Hmm.
it's the Padres. So I guess this does go
A
back a little
pitcher's
bit.
not a pitcher's not going to be perfect. Now I
No.
understand they're not going to come out and be, throw a shutout every single game. They're not. The guy they're playing tonight for the Royals, Chris Bubik, is 2-0 and he hasn't given up an earned run all season and he struck out 16. They're going to need to get to him early.
Yeah, and so the thing is that, when we were discussing kind of the rotation before the season, we
Hmm.
did talk about the depth at AAA, and we also expected Cantillo and maybe Logan Allen to be in AAA as continuing as starters, and
Yeah.
Tristan to be in that rotation. The problem is if you in as you said want to send Ortiz down, I'm not sure you have anybody ready yet to replace him. Tristan
Yeah.
hasn't looked good and he's not stretched out. Cantillo has only been pitching one inning at a time, so not stretched out. So, you would have wanted some of that depth to stay as a starter. I
Yeah.
don't know if they have another option at this point because I think it's too soon to bring up a Nick Hazy or a Messick or, I'm not sure what you do there. One of those other guys should have been in AAA and stayed stretched out as a starter, I think.
Yeah.
Or you're just gonna have to stick with it, and you're just gonna have to
I
stick with
mean,
Ortiz. He had a really promising
Ortiz was
outing.
he did. I mean, and Ortiz was the big part of that trade that we got from Pittsburgh. And I think he can be a phenomenal pitcher. I just wonder if maybe he's just not ready yet. Or is it the cold weather? I mean, he did come from Pittsburgh, so you can't tell me he wasn't pitching in cold weather in Pittsburgh.
I think 3 starts is too soon to make any sort of judgment on
Yeah,
anybody.
he'll find it.
Um,
Hopefully.
but my point is that there's some things that right now at 6-6 they're not good at, and I expect a lot
Right.
of them to get better. So I expect the
I,
team to
I
continue to
it,
improve. If they end up winning this series against Kansas City here at home, say they take 2 of 3, so then at that point you're 8-7. You've beaten Kansas City twice. You swept the White Sox, and the two teams that you've lost against were on the West Coast on a West Coast trip, where if you had listened to some of the interviews from the guys, was kind of difficult on them because they
mhm.
hadn't been able to go home yet. That was right out of spring training. They still felt like they were living out of their suitcases. It was a little bit difficult for them. So I think things are going to improve. And as I talked about at the beginning of this show, this isn't uncommon. Like we saw
No.
really, really good teams start off slow offensively. The 2018 team, the 2019 team, the 2021 team. And ironically, the two teams that have started off the fastest, 22 and 24, ended up being rather average offenses for the entire season. I'm not
Yeah.
saying the Guardians are going to follow those 2018, 2016 teams and be really, really good in the top 5 offense. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying is it's too soon to make any sort of judgment on what this team will be. One thing that was interesting after game 2 of the White Sox series, on my way home, I was listening to the manager's show, the post game,
Mhm.
and there was a discussion about Carlos Santana and him being in the middle of the lineup from Stephen Vogt. And he had said, that's something that we were missing last year, the consistent at bat. And I thought
Hmm.
that was a direct jab at Josh Naylor.
That's not a jab. Do you know what that is? That's the middle finger to Josh Naylor. Like that's pretty much them flipping him the bird and saying thanks, but no thanks. We're glad you're gone.
I thought that was really, really telling. Like, because they
Wow.
were talking about,
Wow.
they were talking about, Santana's walks and, you know, taking pitches and yes, Naylor had a lot of RBIs and we loved them and those home runs were wonderful. But clearly the team wanted something different out of the middle of the order and they wanted more patience and
Yeah.
you see that now with the departure of Valleca to Cincinnati and Grant Fink being here as the hitting coach. So it's a philosophy thing clearly, and
Hmm.
I just thought that was really really interesting to hear Vogt kind of say it and say it in those words because I mean who else would that be about? Like that's got to be
Yeah.
about it's
I
got to
want
be
to
about
check something
Josh.
really quick. Here's me just being that guy.
Oh, you want to
Um,
see what Josh is doing?
yeah, do you want to know what Josh Naylor's doing this year?
I mean, I know he was doing decent in the first week.
He's hitting 340 with one home run, nine RBIs, and three stolen bases.
How does
He
Josh Naylor have
has
3 stolen bases?
10 hits in 20. Nope, hold on. He's got 16 hits in 47 at bats. He's got 7 RBI or 9 RBIs, 7 walks. He has only struck out 3 times.
I mean, yeah.
Hmm.
And what's his OPS?
But yet he was the problem. Okay. His OPS is 929 currently.
Okay. So basically on par with Manzardo, who is at 927.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Manzardo's great. I like Manzardo a lot. Here's the
It
other guy. There's another player that I think a lot of folks would like to know how he's doing. That being Andres Jimenez of the Toronto Blue Jays. Jimenez is hitting 224 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs and also 3 stolen bases. He has 7 walks. He has struck out 14 times.
so that one's
And
even more
his
interesting because in the first week,
OPS is 788.
in the first week, Andreas Jimenez had quite the week with those 3 home runs in 2 games, I think it was.
Oh, everybody was immediately calling for the front office. Oh my gosh, we got rid of the wrong guy and blah, 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 blah.
So, but clearly he's come back down to earth in the second week of the season. If
Hmm.
he's only got a 780 OPS after that
Yeah.
hot of a start and has, would you say, struck out 14 times?
14 times in
Interesting.
15
So,
games.
I mean, there's a perfect example right there of, don't take too much of
Guess
the
what,
first
guys?
week and the
Yeah,
first 12 games and overreact. Like,
this is what
I
he
hate, I
does.
do hate to be this way, because, you want to grow the game
Hmm?
and you want fans to be fans and you want people to get excited and I know that like you're comparing last year to that hot start and everybody was on the bandwagon, everybody was super excited, but the thing is I've said this for a really long time. The reason why I don't think there was as much complaining, the 16 team starting off slow, the 2018 team starting off slow, the 2019 team starting off slow. What was going on during that time frame? You remember? What else was going on outside of baseball?
Go ahead.
LeBron James was here winning championships
No,
and going to the NBA
unfortunately
finals.
that's what I thought you were going to
And
say.
so people weren't paying attention as much until the NBA finals were over. And then they'd
Right.
show up in June and be Cleveland fans.
Hmm.
And that's when the team had gotten out of their funk at that point. Uh, So I almost want to say like if this is going to bother you so much, if you're going to be take a game to game and freak out, then just go watch the Cavaliers run through the playoffs to the Eastern Conference Finals and come back
Well,
afterwards.
let's not let pump the brakes on the Cavs a little bit. Let's get them into the playoffs and let's see how they do. Like obviously, we want Cleveland teams to do well. We won't talk about the other team
Hang on
that's
though.
getting ready to have the number
I
two
know
draft
this
pick.
is a
We
Guardians
won't talk about them.
podcast, but
Yeah,
did you watch the Cavs last night?
they almost beat the Pacers with none of their starters.
Who's the 4 seed? I have no concerns about them making it through the first few rounds of the playoffs. They almost
I
beat the
want
Pacers
Boston.
with the end of their bench. The
Give me
Pacers will be
Boston.
the 4 seed.
Hmm? Give me the Pacers, or give me the Celtics. I want Cleveland, Boston, Eastern Conference Finals. Let's
So
go.
I have no that's
And
just
if
my
and
that's
if
my quick
LeBron and the
take.
Lakers make it to the finals and we have a Lakers Cavs final, I'm all for it. Let's go.
But that's my
Anyway,
quick take on the Cavs. And but my point of
yeah,
it is that like what's that line? Goose fra bra.
yeah, just take a deep
Calm
breath,
just
guys.
calm.
Take a deep breath. We're 12 games in, okay? Listen, do we think Gavin Williams is going to be the stud of this rotation? He might be. He's looked pretty good in his game so far. He's leading the team in strikeouts. Do we think Ben Lively is going to be second on the team in strikeouts? He
Probably
could be.
not.
He probably won't be. Bibby's going to figure it out. Ortiz, the jury's still out with Ortiz. I hope he can figure it out. I really do. And then Logan Allen, I mean, he hasn't pitched terrible this year.
No, Logan Allen was another one of those situations where I think I mean that he was an unfortunate victim of all the fielding issues and the defense not
Hmm.
helping him out and those
Yeah,
kinds of things. I want to go back to there is another pitcher that I wanted to discuss too, but give me a moment
sure.
on Ortiz because I want to go back to
10 earned runs is a lot in two starts. So hopefully he can figure it out. I think that he will.
yes, but he's the first pitcher so far this season to go 6 innings and giving up only 3 earned runs in that last start. So
Right.
and that was definitely a more solid effort there. So you had mentioned Class A earlier, and people kind of freaking out about Class A.
I will say this. He is scaring me a bit. He likes
So
to keep me on the edge of my seat and make me chew
sure,
my fingernails and sweat a little bit.
sure. And you got lucky that unfortunately the White Sox player pulled his hamstring, and
Talkman, yeah, you know what? We'll take a win. I feel bad for him? Absolutely.
yeah,
Blowing your hamstring, running around third base, and pretty much giving up, which is what he did, and then he just collapsed because he
yeah,
was in
that's
pain.
tough.
It's a tough way to lose a game.
But
We got lucky that game.
I was looking at it, and I do have it on my Twitter. I was looking at because I noticed this during that game. I noticed where all of Class A's pitches were ending up.
Hmm.
And I looked at his heat map of his pitch locations, especially on his cutter, and especially versus right-handed hitters. I think he's been timid since he earholed um uh um um
Yeah.
remind me, who was
Uh,
it?
uh,
Jonathan India.
yes, Jonathan India. Yep.
I think he's been timid to be on the inside of right-handed hitters
Yeah.
because if you look at his heat map on his cutter, it's outside, outside, outside. And
Yeah.
it's been on the outside of the half of the plate, and then he's been missing outside too. You know, I wonder if he's afraid to earhole somebody else again.
Well, let's look at Class A stats right now. He has pitched in 6 games. He has thrown 6 innings. He's given up 10 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts, but his whip is 1.83, which is high.
Let's
He
see if
has
you can see
been the
this.
victim. Yeah, his pitches are mostly out over the plate.
So you see the location there.
Yeah, he's
Everything is
afraid to
on the
pitch
second,
inside.
is on the outside of the plate of his cutter. And
Yeah.
if you look at it versus 24, it's more evenly distributed.
He'll
It's
figure it out. It's Emmanuel Clase. He's the most one of the most dominant pitchers in the game. Dude throws 100 plus miles an hour. It's fine. And if he's not, and we have to turn it over to somebody else, Cade Smith is my nominee. Give it to Cade Smith and let's see if he can shut games down
well, and
because
you've
he's been
also
nothing
seen
short of phenomenal all of last season. So far this season, he looks really good. You got Paul Sewald who has closing ability.
Mhm.
Jacob Junis can close if need be.
And
You've got
Junis
Hunter
and
Gaddis.
Seawald
You've
had a
got
couple of really nice outings. Their
yeah,
last outings. They've done some work.
yeah,
Seawald got the victory against the Royals coming in after Class A had blown that opening game.
yeah. So guys, we say this. I feel like every year,
It is every
every
year.
episode,
It is every year.
guys,
But last year
everybody,
because it
just do me
started
a
off so
favor.
hot.
We're gonna do
Yes.
this really quick. I know we're running out of time here, but everybody, take a deep breath, hold it for 10 seconds, and then breathe it out for 10 seconds. Okay? Isn't that called
Every
box breathing? Like that's what we all need to do. Take
every
a
year is
just
the same
take
thing.
a breath.
Especially with
The
the cold offense to
baseball
start
is
the
a
season.
162 game season. Baseball is forever long, guys. It is. Breathe.
I
Now, if the
could
Guardians were 0 and 13 or 0 and 12, yes, throw up the flag, scream, yell, whatever. They're not. They're 500. The weather hasn't even broke yet in Ohio. Okay. It is broke in Ohio. It's 40 degrees outside. It's cold. Okay. We're getting there. The weather's supposed to warm up. When it warms up, the ball travels more. They might hit some more home runs. They're going to score more runs. We're okay. We're
yeah,
okay.
and it ended up not mattering, but I watched Kyle Manzardo blast 108 mile per hour ball to literally the deepest part of the ballpark. The White Sox center fielder was in the little tiny corner when he caught it.
Hmm.
So, some things just haven't gone their way. There's some mistakes that they got to clean up, absolutely. The base running, the errors, but I expect all those to happen. I don't expect Jose to be an error machine. Roki, on the
No,
other
it's
hand, he needs to he, like
I know.
we
I
want to
know.
like Rokio, right? Everybody
We
wants him to
do.
be a good shortstop and we want to
Do
like
we
him.
have to flip flop him and Arias then? Let Arias play short, let Rocchio play second. Because Arias has a cannon. I'm just
Yeah, but
saying.
how much is that? How much second base has Rokio played?
Played some in the minors with the Rubber Ducks. I think he would have played some at AAA Columbus.
I don't
I'm
know.
just saying
I think
something
not
needs to happen
because
if he continues to trip up.
to be a bonehead, I know. Yes.
Hmm.
But I think also you don't move two spots because Arias is going to have a limited leash because Juan Brito might be here eventually and is looking really good in AAA.
No, I'm gonna say there's a name right now that is he's trajectorying. He's like my tee shot because it's the Masters. Travis Bazzana, guys, he's coming. He's coming very soon.
Yeah, but you
He's
want to give
tearing the
him at
cover
least
off.
what, 3 months in AAA at least?
If he does well, I think he's in AAA by May, and I think he is with the Cleveland Guardians after the All-Star break. I will say it. I'm going on record right now
Okay.
that Bazzana is here in January or in July.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe August or September, but we'll see.
Mm-mm. I think he's
That'd be a
here.
really fast trajectory. That'd be really fast.
He's doing really well. All
I
right,
know. I
he's hitting
see
the
it.
ball. So and Marco told us
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
really
If you want to
good,
see
guys.
Bazana at the Rubber Ducks, you better go now,
You better go
regardless of how
soon.
cold it
You
is.
better go soon because Columbus is going to be calling real quick because maybe Juan Brito comes here and then Juan Brito moves somewhere else so that Bazana can play second base. I don't know. We'll see. Something's going to give because we got a lot of players and not a lot of positions to fill.
Yeah,
And we got Fry coming back soon.
that's right.
Jonathan Rodriguez is currently back in AAA because we needed another outfielder that can play all over because of
Yeah,
of
because of Lane's
your boy's
injury.
injury.
Yep.
Lane's going to be back soon. Things are shifting, guys. It's okay.
And
Deep
also in the
breaths.
rotation, like I mentioned with Bieber and
Deep
Means,
breaths.
and also Trevor Steffen if you need bullpen
Hmm.
help, and Eric
Guys, it's
Sabrowski when we need
yeah.
bullpen help. And that's going to change the bullpen a little
And
bit.
Slade Ciccone is on our 15-day injured list. He could be somebody to look at as well, although I think they want to stretch him out, like you said, down at AAA.
Yeah.
Guys, it's okay. Deep breaths. Life is good. It's baseball. The weather's changing. When we come back in 2 weeks, I expect smiles on everybody's faces and everybody in a good mood, and we're gonna be fine. Deep breaths. It's fine. It's all fine, right? It's all fine.
That's what I might title this. Everything's fine. It's all fine.
Everything's fine. And I think you should title it Everything's Fine because I'm tired of seeing people panic. It's okay. It's 12 games, guys. It's such a
You can't panic
small
in April. You really can't.
Hammy said it best. It's such a small sample size.
Yeah.
Talk
I
to us
mean,
in May and June. If this team is doing poorly, then that we'll talk.
but how often also do we see like a stretch like this too in August when they're hot and
It's a
exhausted and
swoon. Yes. 162, guys. I'll just keep throwing that number out until I can't anymore.
yeah.
162.
And the other
Brian,
thing,
as always, we'll get there. As always, we're about ready to get kicked off because I went on a little tangent about everything's fine. We'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. Go Guards. We're going to keep winning. Life is good, okay? That's all there is to it.
go Guards. Talk to you soon.
Until next time.
Later.